Hi everyone, my name is Korit Aaron. I would like to take you through the last stage of blood gas analysis. That's the compensatory mechanism. But before we get to that point, I would like us to correct what we said wrong last time on the previous video. If you haven't checked the first video on blood gas analysis, that's concerning the first two stages, please check on the link above and look for the blood gas analysis. The error that we made, I said on the previous broadcast that when you have a pH of 7.3 coming down, I said it's alkalosis, which is wrong. It should be acidosis. When you are 7.35 and coming down, you should be coming down to acidosis. When you are 7.45 and going up, that means the patient is going to alkalotic state or alkalemia. So for compensatory mechanism, there might be a partial compensation or full compensation. When we talk about compensation, it means the body is trying to achieve a common ground or a balanced state where the cells will work normally. So I would like us to analyze by using some examples of blood gas analysis, and then we will get to understand what it means by when we say it's partially compensated or fully compensated. When you say partially compensated, it means the other part is playing something, but it does not achieve the full compensatory mechanism. When you say it's a partial compensation, when you say it's fully compensated, it means the compensatory mechanism has achieved or it has sustained the pH at the normal value. So what I would like us to go through now is some of the examples where we will check the partially compensated and fully compensated. Get to know fully compensated, pH is normal, but the other two factors are abnormal. Partially compensated, pH is abnormal, and also there might be some derangement on one of the pH or PCO2. So example number one, I would like us to go through uncompensated respiratory acidosis. Uncompensated respiratory acidosis. So when you say it's uncompensated respiratory acidosis, we can take an example of pH of 7.25 and then PCO2 over 55 and then ACO3 of maybe 25. So because pH is low, then there must be something causing acidosis. So we check now the PCO2 because PCO2 is number 2. Then PCO2 is 55, which is giving us acidosis. We have excess PCO2. Now we go to bicarbonates. Bicarbonates is 25. Normal for bicarbonate is 22 to 26, which means it's normal. So when you see low pH and PCO2 is high, which is giving us acidosis, that explains why we are having a pH of 7.25, but the kidneys is not doing anything, which means we are having respiratory acidosis, which is not compensated. Now we can go to respiratory alkalosis. When we talk of respiratory alkalosis, we have pH of 7.57 and then PCO2, let's say of 30 or maybe 25, and then bicarbonate of bicarbonate should be normal, so we can do 23. So when we have a pH of 7.57 and then PCO2 of 25 and then bicarbonate of 23, when you check the pH is low, pH is high, which is giving us alkalosis, and then you go to PCO2 is very low at 25, which will cause alkalosis because the too much PCO2 will give you acidosis. So those when it's too little, then it will give you alkalosis. But the kidneys is not doing anything because the PCO2, the bicarbonate is normal. So which means the kidneys is not taking any action to correct the abnormality. So this one will tell you you are having uncompensated respiratory alkalosis. Now let's proceed and go to the metabolic part of it. Metabolic uncompensated. So we have a pH. Let's say we have a pH of let's say again 7.25, and then we have PCO2 should be normal. Let's say we have a PCO2 of 40, and we have a bicarbonate it's acidosis, so we have a bicarbonate of, let's say, 18. Now, at this point, the pH is very low, which is giving us acidosis, but we don't know what causes acidosis, so we check the PCO2, which is normal, we put a tick. We now check the bicarbonates. Bicarbonates is 18, which is quite low, which is giving us acidosis. So because the pH is low and the bicarbonate is low, which is giving us acidosis, so we know that the cause of acidosis is the kidneys, but the lungs is not doing anything to compensate for the low bicarbonates, like trying to correct in a way or trying to compensate. So this one is metabolic acidosis uncompensated. Metabolic acidosis uncompensated. Now we go to a metabolic alkalosis, so we have pH of maybe 7 point, let's say 50, 7.50. We have PCO2 should be normal. PCO2 should be normal, let's say at 40, let's say 40 again. And then we have a bicarbonate over, let's say 35. So when you see this, the pH is high, going towards alkalosis. So it's 7.50, above 7.45, which should be normal. And then the PCO2 is 40. The PCO2 is 40, which is normal. So it's not doing anything to try and correct the alkalemia, which was caused by probably the kidney. So when you check the bicarbonates, it's very high. It's way above normal. Normal should be 26. We have 35. So which means we have excess bicarbonates, but the lungs are not doing anything to try and correct the mess. So this one is uncompensated metabolic alkalosis. Uncompensated metabolic alkalosis, uncompensated because the lungs is not doing anything. Now, I would like us to proceed. Maybe now this might be the challenging part where you have a normal pH, but you have the other factors are affected, like you have the bicarb is high or the PCO2 is high. That means the compensating part has achieved the desired effect of bringing the pH to the normal value. So if the kidneys were the one which was causing the problem, it means the lungs has achieved to correct the pH and maintain the cells in the normal state. It might be tricky because you'll find when you are trying to analyze the blood gas, you might find the pH is normalizing, but the other factors is abnormal. But you have to proceed and go through all the three stages so that you can see if there is abnormality or if there is a change, if it's fully compensated or uncompensated or is partially compensated. So when you go to fully compensated means maybe you have a pH. I can finish this paper. Maybe you have a pH. You have a pH of let's say 7.4. Let's say 7.44, and then you have PCO2. Let's say over 30, and then you have bicarb let's say over bicarb of, let's say 18. So you have a pH of 7.44, you have PCO2 of 30, and you have bicarbonate of 18. pH is normal because it's within the normal range. 7.44 is within the normal range, but on the upper side. But PCO2 is 30, which is quite low, and then bicarbonate is low, which is trying to give us acidosis, and PCO2 is trying to give us alkalosis. So because when you are analyzing a blood gas, let me mention something before we proceed. When you're analyzing a blood gas and you see, let's say you have a pH of 7.35, we write the normals, and 7.45, the midpoint of this is 7.40. So anything if it's between 7.35 and 7.40, it means maybe you are coming down from the acidosis. And when you have between maybe 7.41 to 7.45, it means maybe you are coming down from alkalosis. So because this one you see is 7.44, it means you are coming up from alkalosis. So what was the cause of alkalosis? Probably it was respiratory alkalosis, but the kidneys has done a good job and corrected the alkalosis. So this one is fully compensated respiratory alkalosis. Now we proceed and go to respiratory acidosis 7.3, let's say 3.5, and then PCO2 of 50, and then bicarbonate of ACO3, let's say of we can do this one is causing acidosis, so it should be 30. So we say pH of 7.35, PCO2 over 50, and then bicarbonate of 30. Now this one, the pH is normal, which is thick. PCO2 is high, which is causing us acidosis, and then bicarbonate is alkaline. But this patient was coming down from acidosis. 7.35 is on the lower side, below 7.40. So the cause of acidosis was the respiratory system, but the kidneys has done a good job and corrected the acidosis, which was caused by the lungs. This one is fully compensated respiratory acidosis. Kidneys has done a good job. That's corrected the acidosis. Now we go to the metabolic part of it. So pH is 7, let's say 7.43. 7.43. PCO2 maybe, let's say 30, and then pi cup of let's say 30 again. So the pH is normal, which is thick. PCO2 is low, which is giving us alkalosis. PCO2 is low, which is giving us let's change the PCO2 to 50. Let's change the PCO2 to 50. Now it's giving us acidosis now, and then the pi cup is 30, which is this one is acidosis, this one is alkaline. So the thing which was causing alkalosis, because this one is acidic and the pH was coming down from the alkalosis part 7.43. Now you check the bicarbonate is high, which means that is the one which was giving us the alkalosis. Now when you check this, the pH is normal, PCO2 is high, and the bicarbonate is high, which is giving us alkalosis. So the cause of alkalosis which was there was the kidneys, but the lungs has done a good job and has corrected the alkalosis, which was caused by the kidney. So this one is fully compensated metabolic alkalosis. Now we go to acidosis. pH of maybe 7.4, let's say 39, and then PCO2 over PCO2, because it was acidosis, PCO2 should be low. We can do 25, and then bicarbonate should be around maybe 18, because it should be low so that it can be compensated by the lungs. So pH is 7.39, which is thick, it's correct. PCO2 is low, ideally should be giving us alkalosis, but we are coming down probably from acidosis. Now what was causing acidosis should be the kidneys, because it has a very low pi cup, which is giving us acidosis. So this one was metabolic alkalosis, fully compensated by the lungs. So this is full compensation because the pH is normal. Now I would like us to see some two other examples. We will do one for respiratory and one for metabolic, but I would like us to see which is partially compensated. Let's say pH is 7.25, and then PCO2 is 50, and then pi cup is, let's say, 30. So because pH is low, which is giving us acidosis, and then PCO2 is high, which is also giving us acidosis, pi cup is high, which is trying to give us alkalosis. But because the pH has not been fully corrected, yes, there is some correction, but it is not fully achieved. This is what we say, it's partially compensated. The other part is doing something, but it does not yet achieve the desired results over having a normal pH. So when you don't have a normal pH and there is a compensation, you say it's partially compensated. Like for this case, we say it's a respiratory acidosis, partially compensated because the kidneys is trying to do something but does not yet achieve the desired result. So this is partially compensated respiratory acidosis. Another example, we can have a pH of maybe 7 point let's say 50, which is causing acidosis, and then we have PCO2 over let's say 30, and then we have pickup over should be outside the normal range, maybe 18. So you find when you follow up, you find the pH is high, which is giving us alkalosis, and then the PCO2 is low, which also should give us alkalosis. No, let me correct this one first. Let me correct this one. This one should be 50, so that it shows it's trying to correct. This one should be 50. So PCO2 pH is 7.50, PCO2 is 50, and then the pickup is pause up. So for this case, let's do away with the first, and the first example will not give you ideal results. But let's now write again. The pH is 7.50, and then the PCO2 is 50, and then bicarbonate is 30. So which means we are coming down from alkalosis. We have alkalosis because the pH is 7.50. So we have alkalosis. But the PCO2 is high, which should give us acidosis. So which means it's not the lungs. Now we go down to look for what is giving us the alkalosis. The pickup is 30, which is giving us alkalosis. Normal pickup is between 22 to 26. So we have alkalosis resulting from the kidneys, but the lungs is trying to do something because it's trying to retain a lot of CO2 to correct the alkalosis. By retaining too much CO2, you retain a lot of CO2, which is acidic in nature, which will result in acidosis. But the pH is still abnormal. When the pH is still abnormal, it means it's partially compensated. So the lungs is trying to do something, but it does not yet achieve the desired result. So this is partially compensated metabolic alkalosis. So up to that point, you can still go check and do more practice on these such questions. You can write, or you can check on write some of the figures, analyze some of the blood gas, and see if it will be much easier for you to understand. If you have any question, then you can put it on the comment below, and then we will try and respond to your question. If you think we mentioned anything that you didn't understand, or you think it was not the right thing, then you can also put it on the comment, and then we can correct it later. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. Thank you.